Glad to have you back from that break. And if you're just joining us, you're right in time because the show is just about to begin. And I'm really in a high spirit today, and I'm really happy because of what is going on in
how are you
in our country.
Yeah.
So okay, let me just leave it now.
No, tell us about it. Let's get to feel it.
Okay, I want our guests to be a part of this actually.
Right.
So I don't want us to have the discussion alone.
Okay.
So as usual, we always have interesting discussions on Engendered. Trust us, always deliver. We don't just talk about issues. Like, thinking about it now, it's not just issues. We talk about things that happen to the female gender, both the negative and positive aspect of it. And today we'll be doing this with a very important guest in the studio. She's like our mother in this job. We're just learning, we're upcoming. So in this particular line of duty, she's like our mother in this job. And we're going to be discussing this with Seun Olagunju. She's a veteran broadcast journalist, image maker, and a girl child advocate. You're welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Good to have you join us.
Good to have you.
Good to see you.
Yeah.
Oh, it's like, I don't know, when we used to see her on NTA, then we're just like, when will I be like this woman? Or we're looking up to her, and she's just right beside us. You're welcome to the show.
Thank you very much. Thank
Okay. Before I tell you our topic of discussion, so let's talk about what Victoria was talking about, what is trending. So what is trending now is Hilda Bassi that is trying, she has already done it. She has been cooking for almost 96 hours. And when she was doing this, I told myself that just Saturday cooking within 2 to like 6 p.m, I'm already tired, I'm worn out. So I don't know how she gets the strength, or she had the strength to do it.
Well, the truth is, there's nothing you set your mind to do and you have a passion for that you cannot do. Whether you are a girl child, whether you are a boy, especially a girl. I have seen from experience that girls always are more determined to achieve whatever it is that they have set their mind to achieve. And I'll tell you why. She already has a restaurant. She cooks. She's on social media doing this all the time. So I'm sure she would have thought about it like, maybe she did a whole day cooking, and she thought, oh, if I can do a whole day, maybe I can go further.
Yeah.
I'm sure she must have been practicing this. That is what that's the tenacity, the resolve of the girl child to say, let me do this. Let me do this. They always say, okay, a woman's certificate will end up in the kitchen. Let my certificate end up in the Guinness World Book of Records as cooking for that long. After all, you said, okay, women are built to cook. Okay, let me cook
exactly.
and show the world that, okay, I can go beyond just cooking for my family to eat. I can actually be a world record holder. My name will be in the books for life as breaking this kind of record, and she has achieved it. I am very happy. I'm proud to be a woman today.
Well, we saw the support she has garnered from people. Did you actually anticipate? Would anyone would have?
Oh, that's the Nigerian spirit, really.
Really?
I mean, we always support ourselves. Nigerians are. It is only when politicians come that they bring this divisive tendencies amongst us. But just look at it. Whatever it is we're doing in the music, in arts, in whatever, Nigerians come together to support
each other. We
have this united front. When our own is up there doing something, we always want to achieve it. That's when we all say, okay, go and do it for Nigeria, go and do it for us.
Exactly. When I saw it, and it reminded me of when we were serving, and it says under the sun and in the rain. It was raining last night, and people were still there
under the rain,
under the rain with her, supporting her.
Yes.
I feel like she's my sister right now. I'm so happy because when she actually started cooking, I just used to follow her. I looked for recipes online and I saw one of her recipes and I liked it. And that's why I started following her. I watched her on social media how she was growing, opened her own restaurants and stuff like that. So I'm still happy. I'm very proud of her.
I'm very proud of you.
Really, really proud of her. It has not been easy. Cooking is not easy. You might think it's
and
just...
the other aspect of it, the more interesting aspect of it is that she was cooking and giving out the food free of charge.
Free of charge,
exactly. The other record holder was not making such intricate delicacies.
Yeah.
She was making like snacks and other things to well with, but she was cooking meals, soups,
rice, yam, exactly.
She was giving people out over a period of 4 days. I mean, that's amazing.
She fed over 3,000 people.
Yes, that's amazing.
It's really, really amazing.
All right, so what advice would you give to people out there who feel like they cannot achieve some certain things?
I always tell those I mentor, the girls, the little girls, even my own daughters, that there's nothing you set your mind to that you cannot achieve as a girl.
Absolutely.
Do not let gender limit you. Because I always, from the beginning, I always ask myself that, who is even the one that did this parity between boys and girls?
Boys and girls.
Because, I mean, we carry the pregnancy the same way. We give birth to the boys and girls. We go through the same pain, even more pain with girls also sometimes. So who is the one that said, oh, because this is a boy, he is better than you, the girl? Who? How did that come about? We just met it like that and we have accepted it. So that's why I'm very happy that women are breaking the glass ceilings now. They're going beyond what we think that they can do. No one would think that a girl will stand for 4 days. She's standing for 4 days. It's not even about the cooking. You're not able to sleep. You're not able to do anything else.
You can't sit down.
You can't sit down to cook. For 4 days. I mean, even a man would feel that, oh, this is draining, not to talk of a woman. And then you can see her mother too was also there.
Yeah, supporting her. Yeah.
So I always tell the girl child that no matter what, there would always be obstacles. I think that's where people get discouraged in life. Because when you start, the discrimination, the side talks, the things that would discourage you as a girl to say, why am I being treated like this? Can I actually achieve this? But I always tell them that those obstacles will come. You have to focus. If you stay focused and ignore obstacles, you will get to where you're going. You will get to where we're going.
Absolutely, definitely. So I think that is a +1 for the female gender, and she's making us proud, writing her name in history for she's doing this for
Nigeria. More work for us, because every man out there will say at least she could do it. She could cook for hours. So you should be able to cook for hours.
It's like you want to remain single. Everything is just a thing of the mind. Do you know when after watching this for a long time, I told myself that. Sometimes I tell myself, like, I didn't sleep well. Maybe I slept for like 4 hours. I'm like, this girl has not slept. So this sleep is something that I can leave it and come back to it later and just put my mind to achieve what I want to achieve. It's not something that should hinder or limit you. So let's move on to the topic of today. And today, we will be discussing girl-child advocacy through mass media. And let me just read something here before we begin the show. And it says, according to a global assessment of 522 news media outlets, men continue to control 73% of the top administrative roles in media, despite the fact that women make up half of the world's population. Less than 1/3 in high office roles in media are female. 20 years ago, 189 UN member states acknowledged the media's critical role in eradicating gender stereotypes that shape our thoughts and behaviors. They included women and the media as one of the Beijing Platform for Action's 12 key areas of focus and urged media outlets worldwide to do more to advance women. They all agree that there should be more women in the media, especially in positions of power. There should be more done to eliminate misconceptions and promote women as role models and leaders. Among the actions taken to further the cause were promoting women's training, implementing professional rules to lessen discrimination, and forming media watch groups for oversight. Now, let's look at it from this perspective. Every time, personally, I want to ask this question. We hear about girl-child advocacy. Why is there a need for girl-child advocacy? Why don't we have things like boy-child advocacy?
You know, it boils down to what I said at the beginning, that who sets the standards? Who said the boy is superior to the girl? We met it like that, and we have continued with it. That is why we have to keep talking on behalf of the girl child. It starts from a family, they will say culture. The boy is the one that will carry the family's name. He's the one that is, if you don't have a boy, if you are married, you don't have a boy, you are having palpitations, you are running helter-skelter to have a boy. And if you have only girls, they don't believe you've had children.
Exactly.
Then they will tell you, oh, what are you still doing? I hope you have not stopped. You know you have not given us a boy. So that is where the need to advocate. Then, for example, a family would have girls and boys, but because of limited resources, they'd rather send the boy to school and leave the girls. They will say, after all, if I send you to school, you carry the certificate to your husband's house and go and be cooking for him. So that's where we have to be letting people know that the girl child too deserves education. The girl child deserves everything that the boy child deserves. If you send the girl to school and send the boy to school, it's to your own benefit as well. They said, train a girl, you train the nation. Because a woman would be more, would have the advantage of sending a girl child to school would cascade down to her own family, her own children. Women are more communal in nature. Yeah. We are more, we like to bring people to influence others with, we nurture by nature. So if you train a girl child, she's more likely to, if she gets a job, she's more likely to not think of herself alone. Yeah. She's thinking of her child, thinking of her parents, thinking of her people around her, siblings, everybody. She wants to share what she has. A man could still think that, oh, let me save, let me be able to do this so that I can be the man. But a woman, once she has something, she's sharing. Up to knowledge. Once a woman knows, that's why our mothers share things with us. They will tell you, oh, this is how to do this. This is how to do this. Fathers hardly do that. What they do is, okay, am I not providing for the family?
Provision.
All right.
They would.
All right. So my question, let me relate it to this instance where we have, I was speaking with someone yesterday and we're talking about the girl gender. She was relating it to the fact that someone that she knew had, let's say, she kept giving birth because she wanted a girl child. So she gave birth to at least 8 boys because she wanted a girl child, and it's even extended to 9 boys. Wow. So it's already a standard, especially in African countries and Nigerian in particular, where we just want that the need for a boy child. It's a standard. Do you think it can be changed? And do you also think
she had 9 girls?
9 boys.
9 boys.
Because she was looking for a girl child.
Okay.
So do you think that standard can be changed? Because it's something that culture has done. Aside from culture, we have environmental rules that has played too. And then do you think the media is doing enough when it comes to girl child advocacy?
Okay, the first one, I think that's even an exception. Because I always see that once people have only boys, they're just comfortable.
They're relaxed, exactly.
They'll be like, oh, well, I have boys. For example, if somebody has 3 boys, she's relaxed. She's like, oh, I'm fine. If somebody has 3 girls, she's running around to have a boy child. So somebody having so many children to have a boy is usually part of the exceptions. Maybe she just wants someone like a companion or something. But the norm is that once you have girls, in fact, some people will just pray that their first child should not be a girl because they just want to have a boy and then relax so that whatever comes after that, they will accept it like that, as if the girl is not a child. Some cultures, if you don't have a boy, your husband is free to marry somebody else that will give him a boy. That's how bad that is. True. So, talking of the media, yes, I think recently the media is doing more. But I still think we have to do more than what we're already doing. Because in a situation where we show movies that portray the boy as the only one that can be successful in the family, that can carry the family's name, the way they say it, there are so many plays like that. You have to have an heir for you to be regarded as a man. If you don't give birth to a man, then the boy, then you are not a man. They will always tell you, now so girl you they born. So the media has to start doing shows to show like, oh, whatever a man can do, a woman can also do, even if not better. We now have countries producing female presidents. Those are they are encouraging to see. Such things will make us feel like, okay, we're gradually getting there. That's why we keep talking about, and then the media also talks about the 30% affirmative action that was agreed upon, so that women can get at least 30% of appointed positions or even elected positions. Just even allow women, you know, we have the numbers. But you see, when it comes to election, they will now be telling you, oh, how can a woman this, how can a woman that? I've seen situations where you are in an office, you've risen to the position of the boss, and then they will give you a driver, and the driver will now be like, how will I be driving a woman? You know, exactly. I've seen situations like that. How can I be driving a woman? I'm a chief in my village. I'm this in my, you know, things like that do happen. Even if the man is his boss and that one is even much younger than him, he doesn't mind. Even if the woman is as old as his mother, and he just feels like, why will I be driving a woman? What kind of mentality is that? That means our society still sees women as inferior. That is what the media should be talking about. No gender is inferior to the other. No, we are all partners. Without women, there will be no men. We give birth to men. We are the ones who give birth to them. So we have to now let the society understand that, oh, we also can. I always also tell women, the girls that I mentor, don't assume that because you're a woman, everything will be dropped on your lap because you're a girl. No, you have to work for it just like the boy is working for it. The boy is working hard. You are saying, oh, I'm a woman. No, and so you work as hard as the boy or even harder so that you can prove yourself to say, oh, yes, I can also achieve this. So I'm very happy now that girls nowadays are breaking the glass ceilings. They're shattering records. They are doing, in the university now, if you go to an award, there's a school that I have been sponsoring an award for the best graduating mass communication student. And it's always been a girl. It's female for years. I've been doing this. So you can see girls now if you see people coming out for awards in university graduations, it's girls. And you wonder, where are the boys? Where are they? It's girls. They're making first class. One girl is cutting home 10 awards. It's girls. So I'm very proud of what the girls can do now and what they're achieving. My first daughter is a robotics engineer. She made first class in robotics and computer science. At the age of 18, she graduated. And you know, girls are doing things like that now to say, oh, we can do. In her class, she was the only girl. One of my daughters too, that is in her final year now too, she's doing artificial intelligence and robotics. She's the only girl in her class as well. These are areas that they feel that it's male dominated, that you hardly ever find women there. But okay. So women are doing it now.
No doubt women are doing well, but in a society where it's culturally inclined, like a culture man would disagree with you because they perceive or they believe that no matter what, the men are meant to be the head, and to some extent it comes with some rules. So are you saying we should break out from culture?
No. Nobody's saying you should break out from culture. Nobody's saying you shouldn't accept, for example, if you're married, your husband as the head of the family. Nobody's saying that, but it's not a servant master relationship. It is a collaboration. That's what we're trying to say here. You shouldn't see your wife as your servant. Not that you're going to be saying, oh, we're in competition. No, it's not a competition. It's a collaboration. Both of you should come together and make a success of the family, just like we transcend that into the larger society. We have seen, if somebody wants to just say, I'm the head of the house, it's only what I say that will happen, then the world will leave us behind. The world has moved way beyond that. Everybody is moving forward. People are not saying, this is a woman, this is a man. People are holding very high positions. People are all over the world being recognized for their feat as women, as leaders, not as women, actually. As leaders, this person is the head of this. Nobody will say, oh, this person is the head of this, she's a woman. No. They will say, oh, World Bank, IMF head, a woman. They'll call her name. Nobody will say, oh, she's a woman. That's because she has achieved that. People grow through the ranks to achieve what they want to achieve, not because they are women. All we are saying is that just give them equal opportunity. From the grassroots, as you're sending your boys to school, send your girls to school too. Even I've seen in a situation where even where they say it's free education, they will still tell the girl child to stay at home and help them to go and hawk things, and then the boy will go to school. Why?
Okay, now let's do an assessment now. We're talking about the girl child, your girl child advocacy through mass media. Now let's look at the time. Let me use you as an example now. When you were maybe at NTA, how would you assess the growth? Do you think we're doing better now in promoting the girl child and advocating for the girl child through the mass media? Because there are some times that I've heard things like during those days, women are not allowed to hold some certain positions in some particular offices, or they don't promote women properly. So how would you assess the advocacy of the girl child through mass media during your time and this present time?
Oh, well, it's when I got into the mass media, and that's about 30 years ago when I started. It's been it wasn't like it was bad. I mean, everybody was just enthusiastic about the job. We wanted to do this, we wanted to do that. But one thing I noticed was that they'd rather let the woman be in front of the camera than go out onto the fields to go and do the things that they considered male things. But gradually, we got beyond that. Everybody will go and hustle for stories and then come back and up to editing. I mean, that's
even
one good
camera
thing.
works.
Even camera, yes. That's one good thing about NTA. Only you would be, especially when we travel abroad. Sometimes they'll say, well, you're not going with cameraman. No, I'll just carry my camera. Only me, I'll carry a camera. I will record at the place. I will edit once I get to my hotel room. I'm sending it there. They're using it on the news. So even at home, you can go out, you come back, edit your stories. They'll put it on air. You still go and read the news. So, I mean, we got to a stage that all that didn't matter anymore. Probably because of manpower. You know, when you're compelled and you felt that, you see, this rule of this is a man's thing cannot work anymore because we need more hands on deck. Probably. But as more women came on deck, they now realized that, oh, well, they're doing it well. There's so many women carrying cameras around now that I said, I'm so proud of that. I'm like, yeah, go girl, that's good. But there's nothing that like a man's job. Nobody uses masculinity to carry a camera. What is that? There's nothing like, you know, those things because we saw only men. These days I see women driving buses, driving trucks, driving trains. I mean, in those days you would just faint if you see a woman driving on top of Okada. Not to talk of a truck, like all those big ones. Not to talk of a train. But these days you just see like, oh, go girl. These are things that women are doing.
Sorry, Victoria. Let me just ask a follow-up question. So now let's look at the reportage of female issues in the mass media now. How would you assess that? Because so many people are of the school of thought that women are not properly represented in the media. So what is your thought on that? That's
actually true. The reportage, yes, it's still quite low. Because what we see in most media organizations is they just award 1 hour, 30-minute or 30-minute program. And that's the female program that you see. They'll just call it, okay, women half hour, women this, and then that's it. And that's it. So all you want to talk about women, about the girl child, say it on that program. And that's it. And the whole of the day, some are 24-hour stations, the whole of the day they're talking of other things. Why not, even if it's small clips that just tell you, oh, send the girl. In those days, they used to do all those small clips that use the enlightenment clips that will tell you, oh, do this, do that, obey traffic law, queue at this. Why don't you send the girl child to school? Let the girl child to go to school. Let her stop hawking around and being abused by jobless men who will just tell her, oh, come, I want to buy this, and then drag her inside and abuse her. And then threaten her that if you tell anyone, we're going to kill you. And then she's suffering in silence. She can't go to school. She's standing and watching her brothers go to school. She can't do anything. Because even if the parents don't have to pay anything, they're insisting, no, you stay at home, you're a girl, you don't need education. Why? Why would a girl not need education? She's going to be a mother to a boy. So if she doesn't get education, how is she going to be able to properly discover herself before nurturing somebody else? Discover her talents. There are hardly any idle people around these days. I mean, the economy has made it so that even as a woman, if you are not working, going to work outside the house, you are in your house online doing things. So everybody now needs to be able to prove themselves. I've seen women who were even sent to school, graduated, and then they got married, and the man will say, no, my wife can't work.
Yeah.
It's not like as if you are providing everything she needs. Even if you're providing everything she needs, I have gone to school so that I can practice what I have gone to learn. Why would you want to restrict me because you're my husband? That's really unfair. Those women don't have a voice. The ones that want to say, oh, I have to work, oh, you can't tell me not to work. The marriage starts having problems. And they are at the receiving end again. So I think the society needs to let people know more that the woman too deserves to, the things that you deserve, she also deserves it. If you have worked hard for something and she has worked hard for something, then let her have the thing as well. Let her enjoy the thing as well. Because now I see men who have seen their mothers suffer the same thing, still doing the same thing to their wives.
Yeah.
Yes.
The circle is not being broken. If you saw that your mother was unhappy because she was restricted too much, why are you restricting your wife now? Why?
Okay, now to comment, you said the cycle is not being broken. So now, contrary to what she said earlier, in the mass media, and especially the news media, in communications, mass communications, when you hear of mass communication, you just perceive it's a woman's job. These days, I don't know about then, because when you're in class and they say mass communication, they don't expect men to be at the front. It's just women, because it's the women that are put in front of the camera. So don't you think the women, you said it's perhaps a little time because you're just facing the camera for, let's just say, for 1 hour 30 minutes. Don't you think that 1 hour 30 minutes is enough time to break that cycle?
No, it's not about facing the camera for that time. I'm talking of the time allocated to talking about girl issues. I mean, women are on TV almost all day. We're the ones reading news, we're the ones doing the programs, we're the ones, I mean, that's not what I'm talking about.
Okay.
I'm talking about when the advocacy programs, like this one we're having now, this is at most an hour program.
Yeah.
Okay, so after this, the whole day, other things are going on. We hardly talk about the girl child again. Maybe it's part of the news. Somebody has gone somewhere and then they talk about it as a 1 minute clip on the news, but not any other thing to say, oh, these are the things to do. These are the advantages of you training a girl child. These are the advantages of you treating this woman right. These are the advantages of you abolishing slavery. That you say, okay, human trafficking. That some people will say, yeah, I want to take your child. She wants to come and work here, and they take them to go and be doing prostitution with them. You know, such things. Some parents don't even know that these things are happening in rural areas. If you keep putting that thing on, they say, so if they come to me now and say, Mama Clara, I want to take your daughter to Lagos, so you're going. So this is what they're going to do with my daughter. You think it twice. You even if you don't know what to do, you can ask someone that, what can I do in this situation? How would I know where my child is? And that's part of the education that we're talking about. Because if a woman is educated, she knows that you can't just take her child away from her.
Exactly.
It has nothing to do with poverty. It's knowing your rights, knowing that you're knowing A from B. Just somebody will come and say, oh, let me take your child to this place. You can come and work with this. Then you will now be like, okay. You ask questions. Once they see that, oh, this person knows what she's doing, they'll be careful what they do with their child. Then you see all those ones that maltreat little children. I see a lot of them on social media. They will just say, just toddlers, giving them children to take care of. Giving children to take care of.
Isn't it as house help?
Yes. And then once they make a mistake, they would just
torture.
Torture. And the parents are there in the village thinking, oh, my child is going to school, my child is doing this, my child is... So that's where education is. Nobody is saying that every woman should get a PhD. No, basic education for you to know your left from your right. You'll be able to ask questions that will be able to help your children too. You'll be able to tell your husband who says, oh, I don't want to send your daughter to school, I want to send your son. You say, no. The two of them have equal rights. Send the girl to school too. Let her prove herself. If she now falls out along the way, it's not because we have not given her the opportunity.
Okay, you know what? At this point, we'll have to go on a short break. Okay, viewers, we're going on a short break now, and when we return, Engendered continues. We'll be right back.
Still Engendered, and we've been discussing girl-child advocacy through the mass media. Okay, Ma, you were saying something earlier. So, I just want to understand, if we are going to use the mass media, what are the things you think then the mass media isn't doing right now that should be done?
Okay. For example, let's even say, okay, TV might be a bit more expensive, or the time might be not be really there. What about radio? A lot of people, especially in the rural areas, listen to the radio more. I've been in programs, social investment programs, that I've had to go into the trenches, the really, really remote rural areas, and people listen. They don't have TV, but they have their radios right by them.
Yeah.
Why are we not saying this in the languages they understand? We would go there and tell them, especially with the school feeding program there, and we will tell them, we are giving children food in the schools now. You can send your child to school. And some people were actually sending their daughters to school because they thought, okay, go and eat. But those girls were happy to be finally going to school. That, oh, finally, there's a reason to go to school. So once they start going to school and the parents say, oh, it's like they're doing well, like this, then they can allow them to go. So those are the kind of things that the mass media can do. That send your child to school. Or this school is free, because some people don't even also know that the schools are free at the primary level. So the mass media can say, oh, the schools are free for both girls and boys. Let your children go to school. Let your girl child go to school. Use examples of women that have risen to the heights of their profession. Use women that have become ministers, that have become presidents in countries, women that have reached the heads of international organizations. Use them as examples to say, oh, if you send the little Aisha to school, this is what she can be in future. Which parent doesn't want their child to be successful? It's because they think that when the child starts selling something, she can't make money from it. That's why they're not sending the child to school. So if you can show them that, oh, as an alternative, she can make much more money from going to school than selling whatever it is you're putting on her head on the streets, they would actually think about it. So I think the advocacy should be things like that. Once in a while, just record 30 seconds things. Keep it in the midst of programs, during breaks, on things like that. It will start sinking in. It's not a magic that will happen one day. We'll still have obstacles to those as well. When women say, oh, Baba, Aisha, can we send Aisha to school? And he says, no. But gradually, when even he too, he has radio. Once he starts hearing these things, okay, maybe. And then gradually, one step at a time, we will get there. More girls are out of school than boys because of this cultural thing we're talking about. So let us start the advocacy. Let's use our time less on showing all these things that can even discourage parents from sending all those girls dancing naked on TV.
Okay, let me come in here. Okay. Sometimes one would say perhaps because then in Radio House we find out that we had jingles and promos that advocated women, girl child and the rest. But in this clan we see, like you said, music that's pop on televisions. Could it be like that the reason why this is happening, why the media isn't paying so much attention to such content that could advocate for girls, is perhaps because of need for money or commercial? Yeah, commercial, because the TV, for instance, and radio work with airtime. Yes, like I said it, like commercial, then viewership and all that. Yeah, I mean, it sells more. So well, that's what they think, that nudity sells more than serious things. But we can take more. We can. Even if you want to run those things and that's what you feel you want to do, you can do it side by side. In the midst of a musical, we always use music as feelers. Yeah. To say, okay, we're waiting for the next program, or one program couldn't come up, let's use music. In the midst of that music,
put those jingles, like two or three, even one per break. I mean, like I said, it's a gradual thing. It's not something that we'll just say woof, like a magic wand, and it has happened. No, it won't happen like that. We're very deeply rooted in culture. We're deeply rooted in things that we are so used to. And because, I mean, staying like that also pays a lot of men. I mean, it oils their ego. You might not get that kind of change immediately, but I mean, we would just have to let them know that, please let us gradually get there. Let us do this thing so that we can gradually get there. During music break, during all those fillers, just slotting those things. Okay. The message will be sinking in gradually.
Okay, now I know. Let's dive into the aspect of women supporting women. People use the term, and they always say women supporting women. But do you actually think that the female gender has been promoting the girl child properly and the right way, like to fight for girl child advocacy?
I would say maybe not really, because it is women who will be running around to look for a girl child when they have boys. So how are you supporting your daughters like that? How are you making your daughters look important? I mean, because you don't want your husband to go and marry another woman to give him a son. You're running around because you have girls. Why not make him understand that, oh, come, and it's a fact. It's the girls that take care of their parents in old age, especially their fathers. Those boys will face their own family. I mean, these are proven things, that it's the girls that will call you, or they'll say, oh, I want to go and see my father. I want to go and see my mother. The boys will call you and say, daddy, are you okay? I've sent you so money that he can't spend in old age again. That is the boys around that will come and say, okay, come and be taking the money from
well,
him.
At least their names will live on.
The girl child can, okay, let's, for example, Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala, is her father's name not going on? Yeah. If you want your name to go, if you don't want your daughter to drop your name, your daughter can put your name as a compound name. So that's just a flimsy excuse that, I mean, we just used to just say, okay, let's use it to support whatever it is that they're doing. No. If you don't want your name, in fact, if you see a child that is a girl child that is doing well, you would be proud that your name is attached to her name. So many boys that were raised that their fathers don't even want them to call their names in public and say, they must not know this one is my son.
Exactly, don't relate that child to me.
Okay, this one, they must not know is my son. So what are we talking about here? So I think that women too we should also know that we're important. Because it is the way you present yourself that you're addressed. If you think that you are an inferior person, they will look at you like that. They will treat you like that. If you think that, oh, I'm a success, I can do what my brother is doing, then they will see you like that, having proven that you can do it. So I think that women too need to understand the kind of power that we have, what we carry. It's not like we're in competition. No. We also want to prove ourselves for the sake of the unborn girl child, so that somebody is having a child and carrying it, and not saying, oh, why am I having a daughter? I've seen people who, you are in labor, you carry the pregnancy for 9 months, you're in labor, you're giving birth to a child, and you're carrying your child, they're telling you it's a girl, and you are crying. Why? Some people are looking for this child for years.
Exactly.
I see people who have who have been waiting for a child for years, 10 years, 15 years, 20 years. Once they have a baby girl, they are jumping for joy. So because you're lucky to have, immediately you get married, you have 1, 2, 3, and you're saying, I'm having a girl again. Why? It's because, no, it's not your fault. It's because God gave you immediately. If you have suffered for that child, you will not even care whether that child is a girl or a boy. You will just jump for joy and say, oh, thank God I have my own child finally.
And you know that's why they say sometimes it's not our fault, because we're the ones always, because this thing you're talking about, even I went for an event last 2 weeks in naming ceremony, and everybody, even the mother, the mother of the child, her own mother, so everybody was happy because why? It's a boy. And I'm like, when it was a girl, they didn't have that kind of big occasion, but because it's a boy now, they're like, he's the boy, the first son, and all this kind of stuff. So I'm like, okay, now we're educated, there's sensitization and everything, but still we still have that mentality.
No, I think it depends. now these days, apart from, I mean, like the ones that are really, really, really cultural, it depends on the family. When I had my third child, a girl, after having 2 girls, I was pregnant. I would go for scan and they would not want to tell me the gender of the child. And I'm like, are you well? What is this child? That's madam. I said, no, what is the child? So when I was pregnant with my son, and they would say, we hope this one is a boy. I say, if it's a girl, I will dash the government. No, if it's a girl, she's still my child. That is what the society does to women. They want to make you feel like you are inferior if you have girls. No, you face them. I said, no. If I have a girl child, yes, she's a blessing to me. My girls are doing extremely, they're all in the field of men. So I don't understand what you would say. And I had to tell one of the people at the scan when I was pregnant with my third child. I said, what's wrong with you people? You're a woman. Why are you doing this? That's how you make women feel bad. If it's not someone like me that doesn't care whether I'm having a girl or a boy, the woman will go home and start crying. They say, you think I'm a fool? You don't want me to tell me the gender. That means I already know that this is not what you think I should be expecting. You don't tell me what to expect. So that's how the society has programmed us to think that the girl child, okay, she has the first one girl, second one girl, third one girl, she's in trouble. How?
So you think it's the society that's programmed, especially women themselves, who just give you this narration that, it's definitely, instead of them to support you, perhaps help you and say, okay, it's a girl and it's fine, rather they want to perhaps make it feel as if it's a worse situation.
Why should it even matter? You have had a child. Why should it matter? And just in case they don't know, it's the man who determines the sex of the child.
Yes.
So why should you blame me for giving you what you gave me?
The seed you planted, it only grew in me.
So why would you blame me for giving you what you gave me? So it's the man who determines. I only carry one type. You are the one that will determine whether the child will come as a girl or as a boy. So if you have given me girls, I'm giving them back to you. Why is that my fault? Why do women have to be vilified for giving back to girls? If it's going to be if we're going to do the right thing, it's the men that should be blamed for giving birth to girls. It's the men, because it's your fault, not my fault. Mine is I'm just a carrier. Is what you have asked me to carry for you. That's what I'm giving you. So women will just that's why a woman will go through all that pain, labor pain and everything. Then they'll give you your child and you start crying instead of you to be happy. You just crying and just saying, then the man will just leave angrily. And his fault, not yours. So the earlier we let him realize that, oh, come on, oh boy, that's your fault. It's what you want, what you gave me that I'm giving you. Then we'll start moving from there. Why does it even matter what sex a child is? That's a child. That's a creation, a God's creation. You carry them children 9 months the same way. I mean, it's the same process. It doesn't mean that because it's a boy, it's easier to carry. It doesn't mean because it's a boy, the child spends 1 year in the... No. Every child's gestation period is the same. So why have you decided that one? Who should even be stronger? The one that goes so much pain to bring a life, to bring people to life? Who should be called the stronger one?
Okay, you mentioned something earlier. You spoke about the female power, and then you mentioned the fact that as ladies or as a female gender, we shouldn't feel that everything should just be dropped on our lap because we are the ladies. Now, talking about that, when you mentioned female power, because of the mentality people have these days, it comes into perspective, positive and negative aspects. I know you are speaking of the positive aspect, but some people speak of the female power in the negative aspect, in the sense that sometimes I've seen there was a discussion going on, and the men said it was the female gender that was the cause of the problem, while some people fought for it. For example, he said somebody gave a narration and said he met a girl and he was trying to have a conversation with her. Apparently, he wanted to date her, and you know what goes on social media trends, and it's like, what do you want to be? And he's like, I want to be an Oga's wife. You get, I want to live a soft life, maybe have a sugar daddy and stuff like that. And it comes in as jokes, as trend, but people, and that was the first discussion they were having, and he took it seriously and said he couldn't continue with her. For example, they keep meeting people that have that same mindset. we were talking about sex for greed and stuff like that then in school. I know they will say it's true, the men will offer it, sex for greed, but there are some ladies that just feel like, I went to school and I heard ladies say things like, well, this man should tell me what he wants, I'll just give it to him, let him just give me the score. So sometimes they feel like we, the female gender, we are the ones promoting this thing that we are fighting against. And permit me to say, sometimes they say we are confused, that we don't know what we want. We preach something else, and then at the other end, some people practice another thing. So how do we fight this particular thing?
I'm glad that's how you ended. Some people.
Yeah.
For every norm, there are exceptions. There's no way you would not have bad eggs. No way. Even amongst men. That's how some men too will go to school. Some will drop out. Some will join cult groups. That's how human beings are. We would always find the bad ones. But fortunately for us, the bad ones are not as many as the good ones. That's why you will see, like I said earlier, the girls are making first class. A girl that has made first class means she has very high GPA in all her courses. Did she sleep with all of them? Those ones that sleep with lecturers, they always meet it in future, because they can't defend the degree they have.
Yeah.
Those ones that are reading, that are facing their studies, will come out with very good grades. They will go on to good professions. They will make it in life. They are the ones that get to the peak of they're the ones that become very leaders of countries, of organizations, of multinationals, because they are focused, they read. They are the examples that we should be giving our girls. That's where the mass media, social media, all those ones come in. Let us showcase more of those ones than those ones that are dancing naked around. That's where because there would always be the norm. There's no way, even among siblings, you just realize that one child is just somehow that you'll be questioning yourself that, where did I get this one from? Not to talk of the larger society. So there would always be norms. Those ones are just exceptions. Very few exceptions.
Okay, let me come in here. You said oftentimes that women are mostly successful when they embark on tasks and the rest of it, even in academics and the rest. Okay, now, could it be the reason why men would rather, or people, or the society would rather not have a woman educated? Because when they are educated, they feel like they cannot stay in a home, they cannot breed a family. Divorce is not far away from them, because you cannot, she cannot be submissive, you cannot talk to her, because she feels like she has gotten to that state where a man can be in the first place.
That's also one of the narratives they spin to support whatever it is that they're doing today. It is not true. You can have a career, you can go to school, and you can have your family. I have been married for almost 25 years. I have 4 children, 3 of them graduates. I have my career. I've been growing. I started from scratch as a young reporter, a young announcer, and my career has been growing side by side with my children. When they tell you, oh, you can't go and work because you have to take care of my children, I always tell women that I mentor that do not let your dream die because you want to raise children, because you can do the two together. Nobody said it's easy. It's not easy. You have to make sacrifices. Maybe as your children are growing, okay, you have an outing you want to go, you can't go, you will not go. If you have to do some things, I mean, we have to compromise in some way. Like, okay, this has to give for this. But your children, you can raise them alongside your career, so that as your children are growing, your career is growing. They don't have to affect each other unless you have an inherent problem or you have a very bad partner. Because when marriages break, we blame women all the time. Some women go through hell in marriages that at some point they can't take it anymore, because for their life's sake, for their sanity's sake, they leave so that they can live for their children. But the society will, when women and men divorce, is the woman that they will be abusing as a divorcee. Why did the man leave, or why did the marriage break? It doesn't take one person to break a marriage, and it doesn't. And no books. That's one of the things that I always ask too. Who says it's only the woman that should train the children? Who says? Where in the books is that written? It's supposed to be a collaboration. The two of you should be there. That's why when they jackpot like they're doing these days, they're helping with house chores, They're helping with training the children, doing homework. So, I mean, the men, they're helping, they're doing things. They're going to the supermarket, they're cooking. When they're here, they'll be forming big man. I'm the head of the family. I'm the man. I'm the this one. Why? Because what the society is doing. If somebody comes in now, a member of their family, a friend, will say, your wife has turned you to Mumuni. Your wife has done this. You have, because, and then they too, instead of saying, no, I'm helping my wife, she's busy, or she's tired, or she's doing something else, or something. They too will say, it's true. What has this woman gone to? That same man that has said that in Nigeria would travel to Canada, to UK, to other countries with his wife and do all those things and more without complaining. And the family is running. They're both raising their children and then both facing their careers. Because it's easier when you have help from the man, when you have an understanding man who knows that, this woman too is also making, because once you have your career, you are making money too, you are helping the man too. There's less pressure on him. But when you come and say, you have had, we have 3 children, you have to stay at home and take care of the children, then they're asking you for this, you're angry. They ask you for that, you're angry. The woman she's frustrated because she cannot chase her dream too. She's saddled with your own children, the children that both of you have together. So I always tell women, it is not easy, but please, please do not sacrifice your career for raising children, and do not let your children's well-being be sacrificed because of your career. Both of them you can do together, and then they will turn out well.
Okay, now I want to ask you a personal question now, and it's going to be about still about your career and motherhood. As a journalist, how were you able to like juggle the two and balance it? Because I know that when you have reports, you have to be on the news decks and stuff like that. How were you able to do that?
It was tough. It was tough. That's why I said it's not easy. It was tough because, especially because I was already on this job before I got married. So now having to integrate a family into my career and the career into family, I had to struggle to get a balance at the beginning. But once I was able to, and then I had children who were just like, I would call staircase. I used to call them staircase. They're just 2 years among them. So I had young children. I mean, then with career 24-hour station, I was with, by the time I got married, I was with Dark Communications AIT in Lagos. And we had, it was a 24-hour station. I was on radio and TV at the same time. And it was quite tough. But then, like I said, you have to have an understanding husband. A man that understands that, because when I met my husband, I had to tell him, I said, see, you met me on TV. I cannot leave my career for you. You either take me as I am and let's grow together, or you go for someone that is not in this kind of career that will take her away for a long time. Unfortunately, my mom too was helpful. She would, when I first have children, she would, when I deliver newly, she would come, she would help and things like that. So, but it will get to a point. The rough 8 years are just a few years. Once you get to a point and you're able to raise your children to be able to take care of themselves in court before you come back, I mean, it gets easier. And now they're all grown. I mean, what am I doing now? I'm facing my career squarely. Imagine if I have sacrificed my career because I wanted to raise children. Now they're grown. They're almost all gone. What would I be doing now? I would be frustrated with the man, because especially the man would continue with his career.
Exactly.
I will now be frustrated. It will still, at the end of the day, affect the marriage. But you see, children grow. I always tell women that I mentor, I say, children grow. They're not like plastic flowers that you put and meet it like that. Once you deliver a child, he or she starts growing. So as the child is growing, you are becoming freer from more things their dependability. You are beginning to have more freedom as they are growing. Once they grow to a point, it's just like, they will just be like, oh, mommy, we want to do this one. You have to be there to guide them through their early teens, teenage years and all that. Once you have been able to achieve that, honestly, you're in a small sail.
You know, this is very, I think it varies, because I don't know if it was you, we had a guest on this show that told us that if they asked her to choose, she would choose should choose motherhood and drop her career. And then, different things for different people, because I have someone really close to me that left her career for motherhood, and today she's not happy about it.
Yeah, because the truth of the matter is, a lot of people find it hard to balance.
Exactly,
You know, I said
balance.
it's not easy. You have to be a strong person to be able to balance it, especially in our society where men feel like, oh, as the head of the house, I've gone to work, I've gone to look for what people want to survive, to eat. I'm not expected to help with the children.
Home,
So in that case, a woman who also has a bad boss, who also has a terrible career, terrible people to deal with at her job, would not find it easy to cope. That's why they always say that, especially if women are bosses, let's show empathy to fellow women, especially those ones that are just building families. It's not easy. Even if they're not just building families, the way women are built, we have so many physical things to deal with. We're the one dealing with hormones, dealing with cramps, dealing with all sorts of things. You just have having headache, you just have having mood swings, you have things. If you're a woman boss, please show empathy.
Very important.
You're not the one that will now be adding to her problems.
Exactly.
And then she will now be frustrated on top of all those physiological things that she's going through. Somebody is pregnant in the early months of pregnancy. That's not even showing. Nobody knows she's pregnant, but she's going through a lot. Her body is going. In fact, the worst stage of pregnancy is the early one that hasn't shown. You are going through all sorts of things. Your body is going through all sorts of things, and then you are not going to meet a bad boss who is a woman who should know, who has had children as well.
And she tells you you're not the
and
first.
She said you're not the first. Are you the only one to get pregnant? So I will now say, why would we do like that? Why would we do that to fellow women? Please try and be supportive. It doesn't cost us anything. I mean, even if it's a nice word at that time. Oh, I hope you're feeling all right. I hope you're fine. Because when you're pregnant and then you have young children and you have a bad work environment, and then maybe the house too, you have a bad husband and all that. That kind of tension on top of one person is a lot.
It's really a whole lot.
So
thank you so much. I think I've really learned a lot from you, and there are a lot of things that we need to implement. Like she rightly recommended, she said we can put in short clips, 1 minute clips, feelers and stuff to always advocate for the girl child, and let us know that it is important. The same priority you place on the male gender should be placed on the female gender. God is the one that gives children, so you should not be sad that you have 7 girls or you have 8 girls. Girls are the ones that come back home to take care of their family. Like, we're all female here, and I think we can testify to that, because the guys move on, have other families and go on with their life. But for me in particular, if I've not visited home in a long time, I'm not okay. There's a problem. I have to go home. I have to go and see what's going on. So every child is a blessing, and don't stop placing more priority on the other child. And this is what we'll call it a wrap on today's episode of Engendered. Do well to join us next time for an interesting episode. I remain Chidinma Ufomadu.
Indeed, until next time, I am Victoria Agbi. Bye.